What's going on? What's happening? Come on in. Come on in. Let the sun shine in. Just talking to people, see what's going on. How's y'all life doing? How you doing? How your mammy doing? Hope all is well. Hope we can learn a little bit of something. Hope I can educate you. Hope we can get to learn some things. But hope all is doing well. Streaming on live on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Welcome in, welcome in. And on Facebook or YouTube. Hey, what's up? Love your house videos. So, anyways, how y'all doing? Check in, man. Where y'all coming in from? I think we got South Florida in the house. I don't know, Miss 13. I don't know how to say your name. But yeah, check in where y'all coming in from because I always like to see where people checking in from. Chicago in the house. Someone said, I need to open the Wingstop tomorrow. Oh, let me help you out. First of all, my sir, we don't open businesses. We take them over. If you really listen to like people who are in the Wingstop game, people like Rick Ross who are um, he when he talks about his Wingstop, he took it over. He bought an existing Wingstop. And what he did is he threw a party, a promotion party, saying, "Yo, I'm in here. This is my location." And those fans is what kind of helped him go and grow his business. So when people talk about acquisitions, Rick Ross actually did it right. And I just made a video about Kevin Hart, who took a franchise restaurant. No, he took his own concept of a vegan restaurant and tried to open up a whole bunch of locations. And then after 2 years, it closed down, which if you really think about it, that's a horrible idea. Why would anybody take a concept that hasn't been proven, has no track record, no one asks for? You have, and then you have to spend a whole bunch of money to do build out, close out, make a menu, make a design. You spending millions of dollars to try to prove a concept that no one asked for, right? Rick Ross, in theory, is a better entrepreneur than Kevin Hart, even though Kevin Hart might be glorified because he has more money than Rick Ross on paper, probably. But why reinvent the wheel? I don't know if somebody on Rick Ross' team went to him and said, "Yo, man, you need to just buy an existing business," or he just came up with that idea on his own, versus somebody like Kevin Hart who said, "I have an idea. I'm gonna build this from scratch," which is a horrible idea, right? Why reinvent the wheel? Why are people going out and having a concept in their head and trying to prove it to the market, right? I think a lot of people want to have that sense of accomplishment and say, "This is mine. I built this from the ground up. This is how I do it. I did this. This is my idea." Versus, yeah, I own some businesses that make me some money. Like, I guess nobody cares if you have a business. I mean, in theory, no one cares. Period. Nobody cares about your dreams but you, in theory. But it's just a whole lot easier to take something that's already existing and that's already making money and scale it than take something from scratch and build it out. It's cheaper and it's easier and it's faster, right? And that's what one of the many things that I teach is to take something that's shit and make it sugar, or take something that already exists, and especially if it's already doing decent numbers, don't do anything. Don't reinvent the wheel. If the wheel is rolling down the hill and it's rolling super fast, why go to the wheel, push it over, stop it, and then try to like make it to whatever your ideal of a wheel is? No, that's dumb. Just let it keep rolling. And every time that wheel hit a bump, or every time for every second it rolls, it drops a dollar out of it. You take that dollar and you put it in your pocket and you keep on letting that mother clucker roll. You just walking behind that wheel and collecting them dollars, right? Why am I up at the top of the hill talking about, okay, cool, I have a block right here. I want a damn, this the kind of wheel I want, this, whatever. I'm running right behind this wheel, catching these dollars. But someone said, you're broke. Yeah, you're right. Have fun at work tomorrow. You must be new here, my guy. You must be new, because people who talk like that, they're either young or have no clue what it takes to be a true entrepreneur, or know anything about money, or know anything about the money game. Nothing, right? But I'll give you a quick synopsis, Mr. Sir, if you want to know, even though you probably left. When I was 27 years old, actually when I was 24 years old, I was homeless, sleeping in my brother's closet. Me and my brother got into it about his girlfriend, and then he let me sleep in his car. And then I commuted back and forth between both my brother's houses, and I pretty much either slept on the couch or slept in my brother's car. And I said I got tired of this. So at 24 years old, I joined the United States military, right? I showed up with a book bag and a toothbrush. Okay. And then someone said, because I'm wearing a Gucci hat. Yeah, it's from my my luxury consignment store that I own, amongst the other 10 businesses I own. But listen, you're talking and you ain't listening. I can tell you younger, man, because younger people always feel like they got the answers to stuff, man. When an elder or someone who's been in the position that you want to be in is talking, just sit back and relax and listen, right? Because I've struggled, right? I showed up to boot camp with a toothbrush and the clothes I had on. That's it. $12 in my wallet. And I told myself I'm never being broke again. My credit was so bad, I had to get a waiver to come into the military, because they don't allow you to have bad credit, because you're more susceptible to espionage and spying on the government, because the foreign government bodies can persuade you if you have debts and stuff like that. So I had to get a waiver to come in. So I had to get out of debt with my military money. My paycheck in the military was about $400, $425 every 2 weeks, or about $850 a month, right? If anybody in here is living under $850 a month, put a boom emoji or something emoji in the chat, because I know y'all probably making way more than $800 a paycheck. But that's what I did. They gave me three meals and a place to sleep and $800 a month. And I said, it's better than nothing. I had $12,000 in debt plus $40,000 worth of student loans. So I had pretty much $50,000 worth of debt. So I come into the military making less than $1,000 a month, $50,000 in debt. And I told myself, I'm not going back to that car. I'm not going back to couch surfing, and whatever I got to do, I'll fight wars. I'll shoot. I'll dodge bombs. I'll duck under bullets. I don't give a shit, right? That shit is not happening for me again. And I saved every dime I had for about 3.5 years. My friends was going to the club. My friends was going to parties. They was going to sporting events. They was eating out. They was drinking. My ass was sitting in the damn room watching a TV with 4 fucking channels on it. 4, right? I watch more PBS than you can fucking imagine. And people say, don't fucking play me. I watch PBS more than you ever imagine, right? So then I saved up, then I went and fought a war. I did what's called ghosting. I put all my shit in storage, and they paid me about $1,300 a month to fight a war, right? Bullets, wrath of God, sand everywhere, foot fungus, heat exhaustion. I'm in damn Iraq in the middle of the summer. We had a heat index of 129 degrees, right? And then your AC go out in your building. You ever been exposed to something like that? Probably not, because you ain't had no life experiences. But I told myself, you can pay me to go to this war. So that's why I did it. That's why I did it, right? So I get back from this damn war zone, right? I saved up 10 thou wow, but I noticed my money was trickling away, right? Just because it's life. just life trickles away. So like the normal expenses, oh man, your tire, you need some new tires, or you know you got to get a new place now because you was putting all your shit in storage, or you got to get a new bed now or something. Just life stuff just happens. And my $10,000 went from 10,000 to 9,500 to 9,200 to 8,800. And I was like, yo, fuck this, man. I can't do this no more. I can't do it. Like, I'm going to be right back broke again. I got to learn where rich people put their money. So I went to the library and I got every freaking book, right? Either 109 or 104 or 107 off the top of my head. It was a lot, right? But this was, 14 years ago. And I read every book. My goal was to read one financial book a day and to learn 5 lessons per book. Now, when you're reading that much, you're not going to get all the meat and the potatoes, right? I was pretty much skimming the shit. So I got as much information out of that book, these books as possible. And the majority of lessons I learned: real estate, owning processes that make money, repairing your credit, and investing in compound interest accounts. And that is the foundation for the book I'm writing called The 4 Pillars: investing, credit, real estate, ownership that makes you money while you're sleeping. Okay? So now I took all my money and I started to put it to work. I started buying stocks. And back then, you know how y'all young whippersnappers can just get on Webull or get on Robinhood or get on Fidelity.com and just, oh man, I want to buy this stock. I want to buy this fund. I want to buy this ETF. I want to buy this index fund. I want to buy this mutual fund. No, my old school ass had to physically call the brokers. Hey, I want to set up a brokerage account. Do you have $25,000? No. Bye. You can't do it, right? Charles Schwab literally laughed me out the door. And then what's crazy about it is one of my brokerage accounts got bought out by Charles Schwab, and I had $274,000 in that account. And said, "Hey, Mr. Richard, we just want you to let you know, welcome to Charles Schwab. We transfer your fund over." I said, "Oh, y'all don't have no record of me in 2012 or 11 or something like that, trying to set up a brokerage account?" "Oh, no, sir. Yeah, y'all laughed at me and told me to fuck off." You know what I'm saying now? Fuck off. Transfer all my money to my T. Rowe Price account. Who laughing out? Bitch. Click. I hung up. I transferred all my money out those accounts, right? When you're a boss, you can do shit like that. But you're not going to do that shit with $25 in your damn bank account. But that's a whole nother story. Anyways, right? Then I used what's called a VA loan to buy my first property. My first property was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It was $128,000. My payment with interest is my PITA, property taxes, interest, insurance, and I didn't have a mortgage fee at the time. PITA, P-I-T-I, was $9.25. I rented out 3 roommates, $500 fee, 555. That's $1,500. $1,500 minus $9.25. That's $575. A lot of people take the $575, go to the club, buy drinks, buy Gucci, buy fucking jewelry, and all kind of shit like that. No. I just paid my $900. And I kept all $1,500. I put $1,500 aside, right? And then when I had another 5-10% down, back then I could buy a house for $10,000 down. It's just damn near impossible now. That's when ass clowns like Dave Ramsey said, "Yo, man, you can do it. You can buy all these properties." So yeah, whatever. All right. So yeah. So when I bought that property, I was just buying properties every time I saved up $10,000, I would buy a property. $10,000, buy a property. $10,000, buy a property. And I was still full-time active duty military. And I was working on my bachelor's degree from St. Leo University. And I was buying a property every 2 months at the time. So when people come to me and say, "I don't have time, I can't do it, you don't have the money," you are full of stool. You are full of stool. I'm buying properties, full-time military. So you might work a full-time job, but full-time active duty military is a whole nother ball game. A whole nother ball game. You might go and sit in your little cubicle, or you might flip some burgers, might do some McDonald's orders and stuff like that. but you are nowhere near the equivalent of a full-time active duty military member, right? We are putting in 11, 12 hours a day, every day, and we're not even compensated for the shit. So when people say they're active duty military, it's just a whole nother level of work versus an average job. And then you work random ass schedules, and then you got to literally stop what you got to do and go travel throughout the world and do whatever they tell you to do, right? Which is almost impossible, which is really, really, really hard. So, it's all good. So I took all those properties and then I started taking that cash flow and then I just started buying businesses, while still investing, while still active duty military, while still now I'm pursuing my master's degree from LSU. And then when I got done with my LSU program, I got accepted to Harvard Business School. While I got promoted to a military training instructor when I teach people how to do my job back in the day. So now I'm doing that full time while still buying properties, while still buying businesses, while going to school, going to Harvard full time. So when people talk about hard work and putting in the work, I don't want to hear it because I sucked it up for 15 years before I even took a draw. I didn't buy nothing. And I've had 6-figure, 7-figure months. And I was riding around in a 15-year-old Honda. And a lot of people are like, well, why you want to, if you got the money, why don't you enjoy it? No, I got the money and I don't want to blow it. Because this money got to last me a lifetime. It's got to last my kids a lifetime. It's got to last my spouse when I die, her lifetime, and my kids' kids, and my kids' kids, and my kids' kids, right? And whenever the time comes, because I'm donating, I'm putting to the fund now at least 5 to 6 figures a month into compound interest accounts. And when I'm gone, I'm creating a trust fund for my grandkids, my grandkids, and my grandkids. So my lineage will be pretty much preserved for an eternity, as long as they don't mess up the pot, which I'm gonna make a video and pretty much assure that it's gonna be bulletproof. Right? So when people come to me and ask me and tell me this type of stuff, I'm trying to educate you guys because for years, I was the guy that you saw at the grocery store in a little red Honda or a little red Prius or the little black pickup truck, little 4x2 Nissan with 300,000 miles on it and bringing in 6 figures a month. And you would never know. I recently just started enjoying money because I was so afraid of me not having it and having to go back to couch surfing that, maybe you can call it stress, maybe you can call it PTSD, maybe you can call it whatever you want. But one side of me still has reserves on spending any amount of money on anything. But what's the point of having something if you can't even use it? So, especially when you start making some decent money like I did. So, I really don't try to share my synopsis of my life, but someone called me broke, and I'm just here to say that I don't really talk about money. My words will the way I convey a message and the way I speak, let you know I'm not out here playing around. Now, if you have a question why you are not in the financial circumstances that you need to be in and how I can address you, because my financial background or my financial holdings has no bearing on you. I don't know any of y'all from a can of paint. I don't know any of y'all. If y'all can walk to me up the street, I have no clue who you guys are, right? But everybody has financial struggles. Everybody needs somebody to guide them in the proper direction. We've been led astray from the systems that be. Your school taught you to be a worker. Your college taught you to be a worker. Your family taught you to be a worker. Your church taught you to be a worker. Your damn friends taught you to be a worker. And your whole society and your whole lineage pretty much talk to you about being a worker bee. Get up at this time get on this bus, go through traffic, sit at this place, have a boss or a teacher or somebody tell you what to do for 8 hours a day, and then you get back on the bus or you get back in your car, you commute home, and whatever time you have left over is your time, right? That sounds like high school, college, work, church. It's all the same. It's all conditioning you to do the same shit over and over again, and you think that that's normal. Having your life slaved out to an individual is not normal. If you devoted the same 8 hours a day to being an entrepreneur, you make your own hours, you make your own time, you make your own money, right? Do you feel like you make an hour what you're worth? If you do, raise your hand, put an emoji in the chat. I'll wait. Of course you don't. Of course you don't. Because why would they pay you what you're worth? They'll pay you what the job offers, or the amount of experience you have, or the amount of productivity that you can prove to them. And just a simple quick number, I give you like a 1 to 10 ratio. For every dollar you make your job makes 10. Okay? So if you make 60,000, your job makes 600,000. If you make 100,000, your job makes $1 million off of you. You make $300,000 at a job, which I doubt, your job making $3 million off of you. You are a direct reflection of what that job gets out of you. Once you start learning how to evaluate businesses and start to understand the financials aspects of businesses, you will see employee cost is about 28%. So all the employees at your job makes up about 25 to 28% of the income of, or the gross revenue of the business. So let's say if you add up everybody's salary at your job, and let's say it's $3 million. What fuck? 25%, 3 times 4, that business should be bringing in about $3 million. I'm sorry, $12 million. So you're bringing in $12 million to somebody like me while you're making $100,000 a year, right? And I'll pay your employee, I'll pay your salary. Here you go. Yeah, I'll happily pay it because I ain't got to be in there to do the shit. And then you walk around and give you some entitlements, and give you all this little pride, and give you your own little cubicle, give you your own little parking spot. You think you're doing hot shit, and I'm sitting around cashing all the fucking checks. And I ain't do a damn thing. Who in here, by a show of hands, has a job that the person who owns it you've never met? Do anybody? Right? If you work at a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant, you've probably never met the owner. You probably never met the owner. If you work at a wherever, most times, 9 times out of 10, a lot of jobs you will never meet the owner. You will meet the manager or the district manager, especially if you're in a restaurant or something like that. You'll never meet the owner. You'll never meet the owner. Think about every restaurant you've ever worked at, or every restaurant. Fuck that. Let's think bigger. Think of every restaurant you've ever been to. Think about the McDonald's on your corner. If you sat there in the corner and waited 24 hours, do you think the manager would come in at that McDonald's? What about the Popeyes? The owner. You think the owners of that Popeye location is coming in that place? You might see the Chick-fil-A because they do what's called a owner operator split. So Chick-fil-A really don't count. And then even that guy is rarely there. Right? Everywhere you've eaten, you will rarely, if ever, meet the manager because there's no money in being there. You hire people to do that job. You hire managers. You hire assistant managers. You hire shift managers. You hire employees. You hire bus boys. You hire cleaning crew. You hire maintenance men to do that type of stuff. And You are in charge of the process. Now you're on the line for the money if it defaults. That's why you hire the right people. That's why you hire a good manager to manage these people. You know? So I want you to understand that a lot of people have been led astray. Y'all looking at the shit wrong. Y'all looking at the shit weird, you know? But it's all good. So, damn, I've been ranting. So let's go ahead and get to some questions. Someone asked me some questions. It's like, you're dodging my questions. No, I just like to always start a video with some more depth to the questions, right? I could just sit here and answer questions all day. That stuff's easy, right? But sometimes it takes more than just answering the person's question. They have a lot of people have a lot of mindset issues. A lot of people think that they can't do it, or I'm coming from a position of uh, I come from like a silver spoon background. You know, somebody said in the comments the other day, "Oh, I know you grew up rich. I can tell by the way you talk." What's crazy is I work on my accent a lot. I've taken close to 500 hours of public speaking classes just to learn how to convey a message properly. I'm literally from the swamps of Louisiana. That every once in a while, and then I grew up in Tennessee and in Georgia and in Florida and in Texas and in South Carolina. I'm Mr. South himself, right? They're in the most a more South person than me, because I'm Mr. Southern himself. But you will rarely, if ever, hear my accent because I enunciate and pronounce my words properly because I am formally educated on the matter. So when people say stuff like, I can tell you grew up in city or silver spoon. No, it's a skill that you got to work on. Just like if you play basketball, right? You just say, oh man, you must have had a professional dad as a basketball player. No, it's a skill. You work on it, right? And I almost think that public speaking is probably your best attribute to financial success. It's one of them. Because if you want to go raise capital and buy an apartment complex or buy a business and you ain't got no money, if you showed up to my door or you showed up to my business and you wanted me to give you $10,000, $15,000, $100,000 or $200,000, and you want me to invest in your company or your firm, and you be like, shit, listen here, Playboy, this I got the play right here. Listen, and I watch YouTube videos or TikTok, people be like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. I got this, right? So word, check this shit. I'm just like, who the fuck is listening to this guy? Who listens to these people? Who is going to give this guy $100,000? But if I walk into the establishment, hey, how you doing, Mr. John? My name is Mr. Richard, and I would like a minute of your time to let you know of some different avenues of revenue that I can assist you with. I mean, you're a doctor here, man. You got a great practice, but I'm sure being a doctor and a physician, you have an abundance of excess income. If you want to thinking about investing something outside of the traditional ways of traditional real estate or into the stock market, which stock market has been producing not that much lately. If you want to get into something a little higher, get some great returns, I'd love to go with your different perspectives or different proposals. I can, I'm just making sure off the top of my head. I don't fucking know, right? So, it's a different level. You have to learn the skills. I hate the skills that pay the bills, but you have to learn this stuff, right? And a lot of people, I don't know. And then a lot of people, I get a lot of times in the comments, people say shit like, oh, you grew up in the suburbs. No, I grew up in Atlanta. And the DeKalb. It's about as south and black as you can get. I just don't talk like that because it's a skill that you work on, right? Lots of college, lots of public speaking skills, and lots of military training. And it So I have to turn it on and off though, but because if you ever heard me talk, not in this setting, I don't sound like this. Just letting you know, not one bit. But it's all good. All right, so let's get to some preguntas. Preguntas, questions. For those who are not bilingual, that's Spanish for questions. Someone said, "Where's the wife and kids?" Uh, I don't know. Not watching TV. I don't know. What do you want me to say, man? Yeah, they're here somewhere. Five. Okay, we got one. I'm 10K in debt. Hope it's good debt. Good debt puts money in your pocket. Bad debt takes money out. And that's one thing about the middle class, that middle class people love consuming with debt. It's like the worst habit that middle class people have. Buying stuff with debt, using credit cards or lines of credit to buy stuff that gives them excitement and joy and not bring them money. But it's all good. I make 40K a year. My cost of rent, utility, insurance is just that, plus $500 into an app that monitors politician stock trading. Could you give me some guidance? Well, first of all, riding, I can appreciate that you're investing, but you can go a little simpler on that app, right? First of all, the apps that tracks politician investing is delayed by 6 months. Everyone I've seen is, maybe you can reinvent the wheel or something like that, but for the most part, they aren't that good. You're getting delayed data. And then also too, if you do like a simple index fund, mutual fund, ETF, you can get almost consistent better returns than any of that AI tracking app crap. That's just my personal opinion on that. And then also, I don't know your living expenses. You said car and insurance and stuff like that. Hope you don't have $40,000 a year. Hope you don't have a car payment, because damn near you can't afford it. Once you pay that car off, you are done with those cars, man. I don't want you to get another Hellcat or Jeep Cherokee or any of that shit, right? Ride that shit till the wheels fall off. You are done with car payments. You don't make enough money to afford a car payment, right? And then you might need to start looking into getting into some side hustles or getting into something else that make more money, right? Um, I talk about different side hustles every chance I get. I can name probably 10 off the top of my head that anybody can do. If I had to start over again from scratch, for damn sure, that's the first thing I'm doing. And I don't understand why people don't utilize their time on side hustles a little more, But someone said, how do you feel about crypto? At least 10% of my portfolio. Crypto is cool, right? I don't really harp on crypto a lot because there's a lot of people out here scamming on crypto, and I don't believe in it like that. I make my crypto is 5% of my portfolio. Not even 5%. But I bought Bitcoin at, I think, $500. I bought 5 of them. I spent $2,500 on crypto when it's $500. That lets you know what I'm sitting on. I got some XRP, some Ripple, some Cardano, Ethereum, and that's it. If it ain't one of them, I think I got some Dogecoin, but I think I sold it recently. Dogecoin, and I had some other coin too, some meme coin. I sold all that crap. I'm just routing it out. If it hits, it hit. If it don't, it don't. I don't care. And that's how it should be, man. Like, I'm not. If you have crypto holdings, don't necessarily bet the farm on it. And if cryptocurrency is anything over 20% of your holdings, I think you're messing up. You got to get into something a little more diverse, you know. But that's my personal opinion. Thank you for your question, though. I have an LLC. What to do now since Dun and Bradstreet is not trustworthy? Uh, It's crazy. If I sat here and explained to you the process of Dun and Bradstreet and LLC business credit, you more likely you're talking about business credit, because if you want to, because Dun and Bradstreet is known for like trade lines, net 30s, net 60s, net 90s, merchant accounts, Uline, Granger, and all that kind of crap like that. One, you talking about all that stuff. Yeah, Dun and Bradstreet is not even it anymore. It's not a thing. But there are ways that you can build business credit, right? Generally, they have to be secured with personal credit. And then you have to know how to negotiate, or have to know how to go to financial institutions or banks to ask them for a specific amount of money. So first of all, you got to, I can sit here and talk about it for hours, but it's like an extensive process. But if you want to learn more or get started on that process, I have a funding team, I have a credit building team, I have a business credit building team. We can do it all, right? And someone else said, do you answer the question about like a mentorship? I have a mentorship. It's link in the bio. The link is in the bio. The class is on Wednesday. I try to do it. I try to do it every Wednesday, but you have to go in there and see the date. But click the link in the bio. Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. So if you're on the East Coast, 9 p.m. Click the link in there. Sign up for the free class. Like, I don't sell your information. I don't have to, right? I don't care about that, right? I just want to help people that want to be helped, right? And a lot of these other guys out here, they collect your information and then they'll spam you with a whole bunch of crap, and that ain't me, right? I don't need to, right? I don't. If you want help, I'll help you. But if you don't want help, then fine, I don't care, right? I mean, I was well off before any of this, and I'm gonna be well off afterwards. It's just, I recently just started getting into like mentoring, because I was the guy that would wake up at 6 in the morning. Oh shit, I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, doing 12 hours in the military, 13, 11 hours in the military. I was conducting businesses on my breaks, and negotiating real estate deals and business deals while commuting back and forth, and also renovating and flipping houses when I got off work. So as far as like helping and coaching people, it never was my thing. It never was even my idea. It never was even like on my radar. But I got tired of people asking me, yo, man, how'd you get all this money? Or I was at work in the military, and people say, yo, I just saw you cash a $34,000 check. How the hell did you do that? And I just started making video. I said, you know what? I'll make a video and I'll put it on YouTube and I'll explain to you what I did. And that's just how the social media thing even got started. I just got tired of people asking me the same question. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna just send it to people. Okay, cool. This is how I got started in real estate. And I'll send them the video. And I started sending out. I remember one video, someone said, how do I get started with real estate? And I probably sent that video probably out to about 50 people in probably like a month time. And it was like 10 minutes long. It got straight to the point, and it was super simple. And I was like, wow, that was effective. And then other people watch those videos and they'll say stuff like, man, do you do a mentorship? Do you do a coaching? Can I get a one-on-one? Can we sit down and talk? Can we meet for coffee? And just, I mean, and for years, I was like, nope, ain't got time. Nope, don't want to do it. Nope. I don't want to be bothered. It got to the point where the more content I put out, the more people want it. And then I said, okay, cool. Let me see if I have something. I have a free. I put a calendar link. I said I got 20 slots open. We'll do a one-on-one call, a half an hour piece. I got 20 links. I got 20 openings. That shit filled up in 3 minutes. I said, wow, yeah, I can't do that. And I gave a crap ton of value. I said, yo, you got a half an hour. What you got? And it was more like question Q&A versus structured guidance, which I kind of like started leaning towards. Like, I don't want Q&A. Q&A, you're asking questions, but you don't know what you need to ask, right? But once I started getting into like, this is what you need to ask, this is what you need to lean towards, this is what you need to go for, this is where you are, this is where you need to look at, and stuff like that, it started to make more sense to myself, and it started making sense to people too. And then I said, okay, cool. Well, shit, if I did it for free and a lot of people found value, man, that was good, man. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. Let's do it for $50. Who want to do it for $50? And then it just sold out in 5 minutes. I was like, damn. But now I'm spending the whole damn day talking to people. And so now it's like, okay, maybe I got something here. And I was just recently, right? And I did it for a while. But yeah, that's kind of a synopsis of some, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so someone asked, as a first-time home buyer, is your program right for me? Yeah, it just depends. Like this is what, especially as a first-time home buyer, this is what I can kind of lean towards and gravitate towards. One, you need to understand the real estate market, because we talk about everything in real estate: owning your own home, owning rental properties, owning investments, owning apartments, owning commercial properties, owning duplex, fourplexes, quadplex, whatever, house hacking. We talk about different real estate strategies, especially first-time home buyers. You can get to some more complex stuff like if you want to do BRRRR strategy, Section 8, syndication, wholesaling, sub 2, lease option, lease back, tax liens, tax deeds. We can get into a lot of that stuff, but as a first-time home buyer, you got to start from somewhere, right? And then I'll show you multiple different programs. I'll show you how much you need for credit. I'll even give you a nugget of knowledge right now, right? If you are still in here, say I'm still in here, and then I'll kind of help you out. If you ain't in here anymore, I'm not gonna waste my time. But yeah, but there's multiple different programs out there for first-time home buyers. There's multiple different assistant programs for the down payment. Hell, there's some programs out there that doesn't even require any down payment. You just take over existing people's homes, or they'll waive the down payment costs on some programs. So when you know those things are out there, you know where to look, and then I can help you point to the right direction, if that answers your question. What can wake people up to take the necessary efforts in motion to begin their financial journey? I think people just have to want it. People have to hate the struggle. People gonna have to. A lot of times, I call it the against the wall strategy, or I don't want. I know what I'm saying, but you got to work with me on what I feel like. I think it almost needs to be almost something dramatic, because people love the struggle of comfortability. And until something happens where people have to want to do something, then they almost never will. I saw something the other day. This is a great analogy, right? This is one of the best analogies that you can ever hear when it comes to people wanting to do better. This is going to be a little grotesque, but so please advise what I'm about to say is going to be a little nasty. But they did an experiment on frogs. When you take a frog and you put it in boiling water, the frog will swim around for a little bit and then just sit there, because frogs get their comfort. Frogs adjust to heat, and they adjust to their internal body temperature to find comfort in heat. So they notice that the frogs will swim around initially like, what the fuck, man? They start panicking, but then they'll get used to the heat, and then they'll just sit there. And then eventually the frog will die in the water. So a lot of people's mentality is like the frog, right? You might feel like you're doing okay, but if I take you and put you in this boiling water, you will swim around real fast and panic and freak out, but you will get used to and get comfortable in the water. And then eventually the frog just dies. It dies in its comfort zone. And what I want people to comprehend when I say that is you are kind of comfortable now. You might feel like you're getting ahead. You might feel like you're doing okay, but you're just a frog in boiling water. And one day you're going to be gone. And you've grown numb on the comforts of pain, right? Nothing's supposed to be in boiling water, right? Your finances is boiling water. Your financial situation is boiling water. Your financial literacy is boiling water. Your checking account, savings account, investment accounts is all boiling water. You're just so used to you being in that circumstance that you don't feel like you need to do anything. But in actuality, you're going to leave this world just sitting in the boiling water. So you can be that frog and you can hop out of that water, or you can sit in it until it's time to go. I mean, it's your choice. And I think a lot of times some people get in that water and they say, "Hey, I'm good," and they hop their asses out. Right? You're gonna have to come to a point where something's gonna have to give, or you're just gonna be the frog in the water. And a lot of people just like the comfortabilities of struggling every month. They feel like that's the only way to do things. That's what they was taught from their family, friends, loved ones, teachers, counselors, and society. And there's other ways to do it than that, right? Can I get a boom emoji for that? Can I get a boom emoji for that analogy? If you pick that up, that's good, right? I heard somebody, I saw something on TV that was talking about a frog in boiling water, and it kind of resonated with me. But it's all good. Woo, woo. Anyway, I'm a marine merchant, and I saved up money. Hold on, let me. I gotta let this dog out. Give me a sec. 2020 praise candidate. But yeah, so I don't even know what I was talking about. Someone put a frog emoji. Put a frog emoji in the chat. I want to grow my finances, but I don't know which route to take. That's one thing that's cool about my mentorship or my coaching is that I show you multiple ways on the way stuff being done. So this is what, you know, if you don't know what options are out there, then you'll get stuck in analysis paralysis. It's almost like you ever like been flipping through channels and you'll see something you kind of like, but you kind of don't. And then you're like, maybe there's something better. And then you'll flip through the channels again, and then you get all the way back to where you was at. And then you're like, I guess I really didn't want to watch that. And you just keep flipping. And you'll flip through the channels like 3 times, and then you're just like, you know what, screw it. I'll just put on something, and I'll just play on my phone. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to investing. You say, man, maybe there's better out there. And then you just keep flipping. But one thing about me is if I showed you everything that was on one channel, like a TV guide, I showed you everything that's on TV. Now you pick what you want and we go from there. or you can sit there and flip channels all day. Because one thing about me is I break down multiple different ways to do things, right? There's not one shoot fits all. Some people want to, some people want to buy businesses. Some people want to buy real estate. Some people want to just get business credit and business funding to start a business or expand their food truck or something. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what you need. But what I do is I will talk about every different process that's out there. And whatever gravitates towards you, you go from there. And if you want to learn more, you go from there. If you want me to speak on something, I'll speak on it, right? And I'll help you guide you down a certain path, because a lot of people don't know what they want until they see it, right? And I'm going to put you on some real game too. You know when you go to a restaurant and you're looking at a menu, you ever looked at a menu and they'll have like 50 things on the menu, but they'll have a picture of like 8 things. All right, here we go. This is a little nugget of knowledge for y'all. Why are some things on a restaurant menu have pictures and other things on restaurant menu don't have pictures? Right? I'm gonna give you 2 nuggets of knowledge. One, why do restaurants have menus and some things have pictures on it and some things don't? If anybody want to take a guess, I'm gonna give you a quick lesson on restaurant etiquette and stuff. But anyway, I'll kind of talk about it, right? Y'all probably have no clue what's going on. Someone said they sell the most expensive stuff. No, but you're on the right track. It's not the most expensive. It's not the most expensive. It is the most profitable. It's not the most expensive. It's not the most attractive. It's not the value of the location. It's the most profitable. So when you see like a plate of especially like nachos, think about it. Every time you go to like Chili's, Outback, or something like that, they always have nachos. What are nachos? Chips and cheese, right? And someone said to get you always with the ribs first. No, ribs have the biggest markup. Whatever I want you to do this too. When you go to a restaurant, start looking at the pictures. You'll see 3 or 4 random pictures on every page. 3 or 4 random pictures. Those are the biggest markup items. So if you buy this product, it's at 20% cost, and this other one right here is at 40%. I want you to buy what's at 20% cost, because I make 80% versus 40%, and I make 60%. So the things that are most profitable on the menu are the things with the picture, right? Someone said profitable. Okay, cool. Return on food costs. I see you. All right, I'm gonna give you another question, right? Why is the lunch menu and the dinner menu the same, but generally the lunch menu is cheaper than the dinner menu? Since y'all so smart, y'all know everything. Let's see if y'all get this one. When you looking at a menu, why is the lunch menu the same thing as the dinner menu, but it's cheaper? Someone said portions. Somebody said less crowds. Another person said portions. I'm gonna put you on some game. I'm gonna put you on some game. It's for this reason. Someone said traffic. Someone said to sell more. No. Because when you go to a restaurant, you are paying not for the food. You are paying for the time that you occupy the establishment. Let me break it down for you. You go to lunch to eat at a restaurant. Most people lunches is an hour. They're in, they grab their food, and they're out. Or they come in, they sit, they already know what they want. It's cheap, they out. So they can pop out more people in that hour. Hour come in, next hour come in, next hour come in, next hour come in, next. Versus And then also too, a lot of brown bag places like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King are cheaper than sit down restaurants. So they're trying to cater towards, oh wow, I can go to the Chili's for the same price as getting a number one. And then their objective is to get you in and out. Versus dinner, you come into a dinner, you might grab an appetizer, you might grab a drink, and you're more relaxed. An average dinner is going to take about an hour and a half versus an hour versus lunch. So you're occupying that space more. So you being there going to cost more to experience the same thing because you're spending less time in the establishment. I don't know if anybody said that, but that's why you spend more on lunch. I spend more money on dinner than lunch at most establishments. There you go. That's why we learn, people, right? So people who own restaurants, you don't know that, you should have, because that's what we know, right? Someone said that actually makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. But it's all good. So let's get to some preguntas. What questions y'all got for me? I'm here to rapid fire. Bam, 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 bam. We streaming on all social media platforms. While y'all getting y'all questions ready or y'all typing y'all questions, I'm streaming over all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Which, let's see who's in the house. YouTube in the house. Hell yeah, I see you. Twitch, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I see y'all on there. Someone said, I ain't rich. Hey, I guess I ain't. If my name's Rich. How I'm not rich? My name's Richard. My name is Mr. Richard. How you doing, sir? What's your name? And here we go. And I don't know if you come in here and just troll and leave. I'm going to put you on some real knowledge. Okay? Here we go. What is rich? Yo, you still here? Come on. Because an individual always talk about somebody is rich or wealthy or poor or middle class. What is rich? Let's define that, because a lot of people don't know what. If people come to me all the time and say, hey man, I want to be rich. Cool. What the fuck is that? Right? What is that? Rich is not foreseeable, attainable, or achievable. There's no metric on rich. Rich is subjective. What is rich? And we'll even come to, like, you can even say a mindset. Coming home happy, coming home to a family, coming home to a home, not having to worry about bills, right? That's a mindset of rich. Let's talk about a monetary value of rich. What is your definition of rich? 5K over your bills? 10K a month? 10K you don't have to work for? 100 grand a month? $1 million a month? $1 million a year? Right? What is rich? Because a lot of people will always talk about, man, I want to be rich. I want to be a baller. Cool. What's a baller? I don't know. Lots of money. Well, what's a lot of money, man? Right? You know what? You know how you sound? Right? Someone asked me where I'm from. Dude, I just explained this. Right? I am a Southern belle. I am I'm from the South. I grew up in Louisiana. I lived in Tennessee. I lived in Georgia. I lived in South Carolina. I lived in Texas. I lived in Florida. You do not hear a twang. And I enunciate my words because I've taken hundreds of hours of public speaking. I was in the United States military, and I try to train myself on how to public speak and convey a message elegantly. This shit it's hard, right? Sometimes when I talk a long period of time, my throat and my brain hurts because I have to turn off the draw. And when people hear me in real life, they say, yo, man, you don't sound like you do on social media. I say, no, man, I have to turn it on and off. I can't sound like a freaking idiot in front of hundreds of people. So, but a lot of people will never guess where I'm from. And that's how I want it to be. I want to be everything and nothing. You will almost not know, kind of a double negative. I don't want you to know where I'm from. But good question though. But what is rich? You want to talk about that? Someone said a $5 million net worth. Okay. So now, whatever you think is rich is, now that's your goal. Because you have to define the goal before you reach it. I want to be good at basketball. Okay, well, what's good at basketball? I want to be a good football player. Well, okay, well, what's that? I want to be a good pianist. Okay, well, what is that? Right? Define your goals before you try to achieve them, because you're chasing a ghost if you don't. If you don't have a achievable, foreseeable, and obtainable goal, you're wasting your time, because rich is not a goal. $100,000 a year of passive income that I don't have to work hard for, that's a goal. Quit my job and have enough income to support my lifestyle and have enough money not to worry about bills and to take a vacation when I want to, that's a goal. Because those things are achievable, foreseeable, and attainable. Okay, cool. Quit your job. Well, how much you make at your job? I make $60,000 a year. Boom. Well, how much more over do you need over the 60? I need at least 1,000. Boom. That's 72. Okay. Well, what's 72 thou wow? What's 72 thou wow divided by 12? That's $6,000 a month. Okay, cool. You bought a piece of property and it makes you $500 a month. You bought a property and it makes you $500 a month. So how many properties do you need? Well, that's 12. Well, that's your fucking goal. I mean, wow. Now I got to get to 12 houses. Well, how do you get to the first one? Do you own your current home? No. Cool. There's 5 programs out there that can help you buy your first home. Here you go right here. The average home sale in America is $350,000. The average down payment on your first time home doing an FHA loan is 3.5% down. 3.5% of 3.5% down on $350,000 is like 12 grand. Do you have 12 grand? Yeah, I actually do. Cool. Let's buy your first house. 1 down, 11 to go. Okay. I mean, once you understand that everything has goals or everything has levels to it, and once you see the steps to get to the goal, then you can get to that level. But until you break down a goal of rich, or break down your goal of financial freedom, or break down your goal of generational wealth, then you're chasing your tail. You know, I'll even give you another great example, right? Let's say you wanted you want to quit your job. You make $60,000 a year. We've already established that $72,000 a year is the benchmark. Okay, let's do this. $72,000 is your benchmark times 3. So if you bought a business that's doing 33% rate of return, it's doing 33% rate of return, that business should be worth about $220,000 to $250,000. $220,000 business at 10% down is $22,000. So if you can get to $22,000, then you can buy a business that makes you $70,000 a year. 22,000, 10%, 220. 30% of 220 is 70 grand. 72,000, which makes enough money to quit your job. It's not rocket science, people. It's not that hard. But once you establish your goals, then you can kind of go from there. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do. They see these obstacles as like these huge milestones as huge steps, and they don't really sit back and think about what it really takes to get there. Because once you really break down the numbers, because people lie, the government lies, politician lies, but numbers don't. That's one thing about money that I can truly appreciate. It is what it is. It's going to be the face value of something, and you can't almost inflate it, nor can you almost depreciate it. What something's worth is what someone's willing to pay for it. And if it produces the income it says it's going to be producing due to statistics and numbers, then you'll generally get that type of return off the product. You know what I mean? It is what it is, though. But it's all good. But yeah, I've been able to live comfortably. I've been able to. Oh, so someone said rich is being able to live comfortably, be able to pay my bills, and have everything I need and some wants. Yeah. Once you establish how much you make, that's your comfort zone, and then add a little bit on top. Just numbers, man. It's just numbers. Somebody said, so you can always tell when younger people get into lives because their mindset is just different. It's like their objective is to not get ahead in life, but to be content and stagnant with what they're doing in their lives. It's the frog in boiling water, man. Some people just love or never feel like they have a way out or any hope, right? But like me, I was sleeping in my brother's car, sleeping in my brother's closet on a crib mattress, and I told myself I have to do better. And some individuals will just never get that. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I wish I could just get a message out to everybody, but not everybody can be helped. Right? Some people just don't get it. Some people just want to be who they are and are happy with mediocrity in life. And one day when the individual get older and it's like, man, I wish I listened to that one random ass black dude who was talking all that trash on the internet, and he was super respectful and he wasn't talking shit to me, which he could have either easily did. He could have easily blocked me, but he didn't. But he just hoped that you would just listen to anything he said and take it with a grain of salt. But it's all good. What do you think separate the ones that really want wealth and those who are mediocre in life? It's action, execution. That's all. That's all it is. You can sit and analyze and overthink or worry about every financial thing that's going on in the world. I'll even give you a great example. I have a good friend who inherited a lot of money. I mean, a lot. And he inherited a lot of properties. And every time I talk to him, it's the same thing. He talks about, man, China is going to damn knock out our grid. We're going to go to war with North Korea. Russia got nukes. The election, the Trump this, Kamala this, coronavirus this. And just every time you talk to him, it's always the same stuff. And I'll say, hey, man, you going to buy some real estate soon? Or you want to buy this business soon? Or you want to get into this soon? Or you want to invest in the stock market or something? Well, I thought about it, and some weird ass unforeseen circumstance that has nothing to do with his life, he'll say something about. And that is pretty much the general overview of what people always say. That's one of the main reasons. Fear. Scared of the unknown, scared of doing, or scared of what's going to happen. And you can't live like that. You cannot get ahead in life not taking a chance. You have to get the ball rolling, because anything that ever wanted to be done in life never came or was given to anybody. You know, I'll even give you a great example or a great analogy when it comes to stepping out your comfort zone. Jeff Bezos, right? The multi-billionaire who founded Amazon, he worked for a hedge fund. The hedge fund was paying him $400,000 to $500,000 a year. Now, via chat, if you would be happy with $500,000 a year, put a thumbs up emoji. Okay? If you would be happy with $500,000 a year of salary, put a thumbs up emoji, right? All right, I see a couple of y'all. I see a couple of y'all. All right. So Jeff Bezos was making about $400,000 to $500,000 a year at a hedge fund. And he was doing statistics on what people was Googling. And he would take the statistics of what people was looking up on the search engines and investing in those things. So he'll say, oh, wow, a lot of people are searching up iPhone 3 or some shit. Let's invest in Apple because a lot of people are searching iPhones. Then he'll say, oh, wow, a lot of people are searching up Ford Motorsports. Let's invest in Ford Motor Company, right? Because he was using like reverse engineering of like search software to see what people are searching or what people was Googling. And he noticed out of the top 10 things he was pulling every week or every day, he noticed that books was top 2, 3, or 4 every time. So he'll say, hey, everybody's searching up this new Twilight book. And then the hedge fund manager was like, well, we can't buy a book company, right? There's nothing there. Like, we can't just go out and buy book companies. There's no money there. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. The next month or the next week, hey, everybody's searching up this book. This is the top thing that people are buying. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever. So then he kept noticing that these books was trending at the top 10 of his charts every damn day or every week. So what he did is he said, okay, let me just Google the book or search on like Ask Jeeves or whatever search engine they had back in the day. Let me search how people are buying books. And the process to buy books were horrible. It was horrible. It was like you had to go to this one website, and then you had to go to like a submenu or a subcategory. Then you had to find the book. You couldn't search the book. You would have to go to like books for sale. And then you would have to go to fiction. Then you would have to go to romance. And then you would have to go to, and then you had to scroll through multiple pages. And he was like, why can't I just search for this book? And what he did is he took his $500,000 job and said, you know what? I can make a better process to find books online. And he quit his job, and he noticed that there was a market for it. So when he first opened Amazon, he said, I'm going to sell the top 5 books in America according to search engines. And that's how Amazon got started. So I want you to think about this. We're talking about risk versus reward. We're talking about what stops people from getting ahead and not. And it's just taking a chance. Jeff Bezos was making $500,000 a year. He quit his job and started selling books because he noticed that books was on the top 10 searches every day, every week, every month, every year, according to his hedge fund. And all he had to do was get a piece of that market. And he reinvented the wheel. He said, yo, you can come to this website, you can search the books. I'm gonna buy the books in bulk and I'm gonna sell them directly to you. And then the process to get the books back then, it was like 6 to 8 weeks. And he said, well, if I already have the books in stock, if I have the books in stock, I will send them to you in 5 days. So now you can search the books on his website. You can get the book in 5 days because I'm buying them in bulk. And the top 5 to 10 books that are sold, you come directly to me to get them. And then 5 books turn to 10 books. And then 10 books turn to 20 books. And then y'all know what book pretty much made him his first $1 million? Harry fucking Potter. Harry Potter sold thousands of copies. Thousands of copies. And people said, you already got the Harry Potter? Man, yeah, I ordered mine. It'll be here in 6 weeks. No, man, go to Amazon.com. I got mine in 5 days. And what Jeff Bezos would do when he got an order, he would pack it right then and there and ship it directly next day. He would stop, the order would come in, he'll process it, send it out. Harry freaking Potter made that man millions and millions of dollars. So, moral of the story is people say, well, what stops people from getting ahead? Their comfortability stops people from getting ahead. Yeah, you can say, y'all answer the question. Visionary, find a need, find a fulfilling, any of that stuff. Find a small idea, but you don't even have to reinvent the wheel nowadays. You can buy a bookstore if you wanted to. You can buy the process if you want to. You can buy real estate if you want to. You don't have to build a house, just buy one. You don't have to build a car, you can just buy one. You don't have to build a business, just buy one. You don't have to do research in the market. They already have people to do that for you. You don't even really need to save up money to buy this type of stuff. The banks loan out billions of dollars. It's just a better wheel, right? Do I recommend him starting a business from scratch? No, but at the time he did, right? But billionaires and millionaires are two different types of things, right? I'll take a process over and make millions, but I don't want to create anything. I'll probably never be a billionaire, but I'll be happy with $20 million, $30 million, $50 million. My goal is $100 million, right? Which I'm projected to do in the next 8 years. I'll hit 100 million in the next 8 years. So, and then y'all never see me again. Y'all be watching my YouTubes and being like, yo, this dude named Mr. Richard, man, he was on it. Hey, man, this is what it is. It's crazy how a small idea can compound to something unthinkable at first. Yeah. Just like you owning 50 properties. You owning 100 properties. You owning 500 properties. You owning 1,000 properties. You owning 5 businesses that make you 6 figures each a year. You owning 10 businesses that make you 6 figures a year. You own 20 businesses that make you 6 figures a year. You having perfect credit. You have millions of dollars worth of business funding to where you can fund any real estate or business deal that you wanted to without any money out of pocket. Now, if you'd have told that country ass kid from Georgia 15 years ago that that's where you'll be at now, I wouldn't have believed him. But you got to believe in yourself first, man. You got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. Right? But if you want to get started, you want to learn more, click the link in the bio. Join the free class. It is on Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. So set a reminder in your phone. or I'll send you a notification for Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST, and we go from there. And then we can learn. My guys, my friends, I am sick because I just watched the stock go up 200, 2,700%. I missed the boat. No, bro, you looking at it weird. The boat, it's not a boat, it's like a ferry, right? They're just taking people to the other side. You sit there and wait. And when the ferry comes back, you hop on it. About simple as it gets. Stock goes up and down, my guy. All stocks go up, all stocks go down. And if you're talking about those kind of returns, you're probably talking about some crypto or something like that. But I'm not into crypto. I'm old school, slow and steady. Will always win the race. The tortoise and the hare is the best analogy when it comes to stocks. Buy it every month, same price, same back channel, same back station every month. Pick them out, do it every month, and you will outperform any of that shit. And I used to try to be like that too. What's crazy is I used to go out and buy, oh man, I got this high-tech oil drilling company off the coast of Africa. I was just one company. I don't remember what it's called. I think it was not MOV. It was something else. Maybe it was MOV. No, it wasn't MOV. It was this company that was drilling off the coast of Africa. And man, they was doing triple-digit rate of returns every month. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm on this. And I tried to damn ride the coattail of that shit, and it flopped on my ass. Well, MOV is one of them. Yeah, don't invest in MOV, man. Screw that. It's an oil company. It was like 3 oil companies that I was investing in back in the day. And I was like, nah, man, that ain't it. But someone said, where can I find the link to the class? Just click my profile, go to my homepage, click the link. It should say like maybe Stan Store or the richgetricher.com, or it'll say like webinar or web something. I don't know. Click that and it'll say be your own boss. Scroll to the bottom and enter your information, name, email, phone number, and that's it. You're done. Right? Don't sell your information. You'll never get a contact from you ever. Right? It's Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. It looks like some people can't see into the future, while some ones can. And it's, yeah, I guess, but it really ain't even about looking into the future. We all have trials and tribulations, but you can't bank on you can't bank that the shit won't work. Just hope it does, and when crap hits the fan, you adjust. Like for example, are you planning, knock on wood, are you planning for you to get a flat tire tomorrow? Are you going out there and checking your tires right now do you check your tires before you get in the car? No. You just get in the car. And if a flat tire happens, is your world destroyed? Is the world coming to an end? Are you going to damn be bankrupt now? No. You either change the tire, or you call AAA, or you sit there with the flat tire, or you take it off, put it in the back, or call a buddy, they go fix the tire, and then they put it back on if you don't got a spare. You see what I just did? I took adversity and I came up with multiple solutions. And a lot of people just can't think like that. It's like when she hit the fan, they just freak out. It was this one lady, I watched a TikTok or some shit, and her car started hydroplaning, and she's screaming at the damn top of her lungs. And the guy who's next to it, the guy in the driver's seat, sounded like her dad, was like, "What are you doing? Stop screaming. Just hold the steering wheel straight. You're going to stop swerving. Okay, you're stopped in the middle of the street. Just start going again." and stop swerving so hard whenever the shit hit the fan. Don't slam on the brake either. And she didn't hit anything, fortunately. But some people, when the shit hit the fan, they just freak out, right? They don't know how to respond. They don't know how to act. Stay cool, be calm and collective, come up with multiple options, come up with the best one of the possibility. Okay, for example, I'll even give you a scenario right now. Well, what if? So, okay, cool. You had a rental property, and let's say the toilet stopped working. What do? You could go over there and see why is something wrong. 2, you can call a plumber. 3, you can get them on the phone and say, hey, walk me through what's going on. What is it doing? Give me some symptoms. Is the bowl filling up? Are you pushing the knob and no water's coming out? Is it a leak? Is it the knob just off? Right? Walk through multiple scenarios on what's going on. You know? And a lot of people just freak out. You can't just problem solve. And I think that being an entrepreneur is like problem solving first and money second. Because if you can figure out how not only to solve your problem, how to solve other people's problems, you'll be successful for life. And sometimes it's a learned skill. You just got to learn how to do it. You just got to learn how to do it. Can you give me some examples of being short on paying a loan that month of business if that's only one? Huh? I don't even know what I mean. I'm gonna try it again. Can you give me an example of being short on paying a loan that month for a business that only one? I don't know what you're saying, but I think that you're trying to say that if you have a business and you're short on paying your bills, well, if you good with money, you would have either petty cash or you have cash reserves for those reasons. And if you are doing the numbers you're projected to do, which you should, then you should have that kind of money in reserves. But let's say if you blow your reserves on Hellcats and Gucci and Louis or whatever the hell else you should have been buying instead of focusing on your business. Let's say you did that. So now if you didn't have the money for the one thing about being a entrepreneur or a business owner, once you started like really getting good at this, you'll start developing networks of people who do the same thing. Because at the end of the day, all our objectives are to make money. And that's one thing I hate about like middle class people and lower class people. We almost ostracize each other or down each other when the shit hits the fan. But rich people don't do that. Like say if I didn't have enough money to pay the bill that month, I literally will call up one of my banker buddies and say, hey, do y'all have any business lines of credit that I can apply for? Because I'm a little short on something. He said, okay, cool. Here you go. Here's 20,000. Here's 30,000. Here's $50,000. So, hell, I'll even show you right here. Here's a business line of credit that I applied for. Word up. Hey. $30,000. Right? Oh, if that wasn't enough, here's another one. 20 grand. 25 grand. Make sure you see that. And not only do I have that, I mean, I have millions of dollars worth of funding. Whatever I want, if I want to go get it funded, I can, right? If I'm short on something, swoop. Normally I don't do this, but keep the party rolling. Swoop, keep the party rolling. Swoop, keep the party rolling. But once you establish yourself as a true entrepreneur and a public figure who out here doing some serious stuff and moving units and moving money, and they see the amount of money that's come in and out your account, banks will happily give you that money. And then your objective from that point is to make some real money the next month and pay these loans back. But it's all good. It's all gravy. Hope that answered your question. I don't know what question you was asking, but I hope I answered it. How long have you had that business? What business? I don't know what that is. Just registered? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. How long did it take you to buy your first business? And how was it? Like I tell you straight up, I had no clue what I was doing. I just saw what it could make and a little potential, and that was it. It took me. I was like unmotivatedly looking, if that makes any sense. I was looking for a business, but I really wasn't focused on buying a business. And then, just surfing, playing around, okay, cool. I guess buying a business sounds like a good idea. Let me look here. Let me look there. Let me, because I had a good friend of mine, we met on a golf course actually. He buys $10 million companies every 3 years. So he kind of broke down. He's like, okay, cool. You probably want to look for something smaller, right? You're probably not going to start off on a $10 million business. And he kind of walked me through the process. And it didn't take him long to explain it to me. I could kind of pick up on stuff kind of fairly easy. Then and then his brother was one of the heads at the SBDC. And I sat down and talked to him, the Small Business Detachment Center, and I talked to him for like 4 hours. I brought him lunch and he just walked me through the whole process of how, debt servicing, expense ratios, cash flow, P&Ls year to date, freaking interest rates, loan amounts, different type of loan programs. He walked it all through, and I was just like, huh? And okay, cool. I guess that's cool. And I was like, cool. Let me start looking for businesses. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know the good websites. I didn't know anything about any types of the stuff I know now. I didn't know any of that shit. So I saw something, and I kept putting it in the calculator over and over and over and over and over again. I was like, this financially makes sense. And if it didn't work out, I would just sell it to someone else. But my objective when I first bought my first business was to get all the money out of it as possible, which nowadays I think that's stupid. But I was younger. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. When people say, I'm gonna buy a business and pay it off in the first year and a half or 2 years, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no clue. But now I know what I'm talking about. But that was my mentality too, because as soon as people say that, I know they don't know what they're talking about. So I bought a business and it was doing decent amount of money, but it could be doing better. It was kind of run down. The people never was there. I was full-time active duty military at the time, so I didn't want to be there. Right? It had a manager and 2 employees, and I said, "Yo, I own this now," and I just kind of walked through with the manager, and I said, "Yo, man, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this." And I just cared about the process. They were like, "Man, I'm kind of glad you came because the old owners didn't give a damn about this place, right?" And the cash flow that thing was bringing in was decent numbers. And then I kept it for like 2.5 years. I almost wish I would have kept it. I kept it for 2.5 years, and I sold it for twice as much as I paid for it. And then I said, well, shit. If I can do it once, I can do it twice. Let's go light it up like it's dynamite. That was my Actually, it wasn't even the first time. That was the first time I bought and sold. The next one was a owner financing deal. And then it was off to the races. Then it was downhill from there. Then I would either buy them cash or I would either owner finance them. Oh man, you stupid. I see you. How you been? You doing okay? Man, it's been like years. Comically 20, 22, 23, 25. God dang. Hope you're doing all right. But yeah, yeah. So we're streaming on all social media platforms. Facebook in the house. I see you. YouTube, decent amount of YouTubers, Twitchers in the house, Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. We all in the house. So, real quick, real quick, if you are interested in learning more, somebody said they have some money and they want to invest, they want to buy a business. Yeah, if you're interested in either one of these things, right, that I've almost feel like I've perfected, but nothing's perfect. But if you have credit issues, mid sixes or below, you probably need something fixed. You need your credit repaired. It's something wrong with your credit. So you have anything, hard inquiries over 5, you have derogatory remarks, late payments, repos, bankruptcies, baby mama payments, judgments, tax liens, any of that crap that's on your credit that's derogatory, is considered derogatory marks or negative inquiries on your credit. Dispute those, or we can help you dispute those or fight those and get those removed off your credit. And then also I'll teach you how to start side hustles to start paying off your debts. If you have high utilization on your credit cards, I help you with that, right? And talk about business credit and business funding from there, right? That's the credit pillar. Then the next pillar is investing, right? You want to get into ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, bonds. You want to get into compound interest accounts. You want to get into 401ks, IRAs, TSPs, Roth and traditional. You want to start putting a little money aside to start investing in your lifetime of investments, and then either turning those funds into like trust funds or investment funds to where you receive a dividend check or interest check every year for the rest of your life. And the younger you are, the easier it is to do it. But I can pretty much start it with anybody. You just got to want to do it, right? We talk about that type of stuff. If you want to talk about real estate investing, real estate, buying your first home, syndication, duplex, quadplex, sub 2, section 8. You want to talk about duplexes, quadplexes, fourplexes, apartment complex. You want to talk about any of that stuff. Lease option, sub 2, section 8, all of it. I can help you break down any type of real estate. You don't even have to have a home, or you can have a portfolio of 1,000 properties, right? I can conduct business on all levels. And then we talk about ownership too. Ownership of your properties, ownership of businesses, ownership of processes that make you money while you're sleeping, ownership of storage units, ownership of, you want to do vending machines, you want to do a side hustle, you want to damn mow grass, you want to start a lawn care service, you want to take over pool routes, you want to buy a damn Dunkin' Donuts, you want to buy a Krispy Kreme, or whatever. I don't give a damn. Whatever you into, we talk about all those stuff. If you're interested in any of that stuff on any different levels, I offer a free webinar class. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. So click the link in the bio, join the free class, and I'll see you there, right? Like I said, I don't sell your information. I don't do nothing with it. I'll just register it so I can send you a text message when it's time to start. And you want to come through and learn? Let's go. And if not, Adidas and I wish you the best. But I'm about to get off here. I appreciate you being in here. I see some old school people from back in the day. I appreciate you being here, listening and hanging out. Hope all good. Hope it's all good in old Gville, Georgia. And someone said golf cart business, all of it. Click the link in the bio, go to my page, homepage, click whatever the link is, and it'll say be your own boss. Click there, and we'll go from there. And you can learn more about the processes. But I appreciate you being here. I got to go do some things, and I appreciate you for hanging out. Avita Zane. You don't have to put up with any malarkey.